Hey, Jeff Kelderman here, Kelderman Trucks. Today we're going to go over this 2024 GMC 2500 ATX4. This truck's going to Macomb, Illinois. Corey Clem's a really good customer of ours. We built 5 or 6 trucks for us, and he's actually bought my G1 Ram. If you want to watch the story on that build, you can go watch our YouTube channel. It's actually episode 1 of Jeff Kelderman's Garage. So the theme on this truck's black with just a few red highlights. So starting at the front, we have our Delta Series bumper. We color match this. Ron, our painter, I tell you every video, this guy is lights out, fantastic. We're really fortunate to have him. I mean, the paint on this thing is better than the OEM paint. So we did the wing and the center section. We did matte black on the mesh. We got our 20-inch rigid in the center. We got our 4-inch rigids in the wings. These are the Midnight Series too, so they have a little tint to them. And then we got our red monster hooks that we color matched to the ATX4 and the outline of the GMC. And on the front is our 4 to 6 inch. So the Chevys will kind of vary a little bit. Like we'll have, because of the torsion keys, you can adjust them a little bit. So we're running this closer to the 4-inch. We got a +2 kit on the rear. So that allows us to run 35-inch tires. We have 22-inch Demons on the American Force rims. So what we did was colored up the red star in the American Force to match the accents that we have throughout this truck. The reason we use the kryptonite tie rod ends is because when you lift these Chevys on the independent suspensions, the factory ones just flat out aren't strong enough. So we don't want any premature tire wear on these open country RTs. We're also running our Raptor shocks with this, our remote reservoir. We have these tuned to work with the torsion independent front end. The ride on these is fantastic. I mean, I would say it's really hard to beat the ride of these independent Chevys after we put the lift on it. Last thing we have to keep this thing driving straight is we do have our Kelderman Raptor steering stabilizer shock. This kit also comes with the Kelderman upper control arms, way stronger than factory, and they look a hell of a lot better. Another thing our truck has is our fender caps. So what we do is, we do these lifted trucks, you get the factory has those big mud flaps on there, and the bigger tires always rub on them. So we came up with this idea back in 2020 when the new body designs came out, and I remember it was on Mike Wine's white and blue truck, and we'd taken off that mud flap, and then it was real ugly. We were trying to decide what to do, and I just came back from a buddy's motorcycle shop, bare knuckle Paul down in outside of St. Louis, and he was showing me how he just bought a 3D printer. And what he would do is he'd write the program for all these parts he'd put on his motorcycles, but instead of taking a high dollar piece of billet, machining it, and then finding out a hole was just a tiny bit off or the contour wasn't right, he would 3D print it first and then fit it. So we're sitting there talking, and I'm like, well, maybe we need to get into this 3D printing game. It sounds like a lot of people are starting to do it. So we eventually, actually really close to that time, we found a guy who could do the 3D printing and designed up these caps. We 3D printed them for probably a year, but the demand just kept growing and growing and growing. So then we took the plunge, invested in the molding, and now they're injection molding. But we're not done 3D printing. We're still doing a few badges like here, and we'll also have it for our S-Pod. So we have an S-Pod in here that's controlling the horn, it's got the dump, it's controlling the lights. So we'll show you that here in a second. This is actually using the same airbag on this 2500 as we use on the Ford 450s. So you've got unbelievable carrying capacity with this truck. A couple inches of lift, a little bit bigger tire, you could still, get a gooseneck on this thing and pull skid loader, backhoe, whatever you're using at the job site. So we wanted to go really heavy duty on this because the suspension is not going to be the weak link when it comes to your work rig when you're running Kelderman. We're also running the higher center of gravity. So when you're lifting the truck, you got that bigger sway bar. Sports car like handling is what we're striving for when we do these suspensions. We want to be able to pull a mountain, but we want this thing to be able to handle like you're on a racetrack. Coming around to the rear, we have our Delta Series rear bumper. These Chevy bumpers got a lot going on. It's pretty cool. So we actually, another 3D printed piece here. That is our backup for the sensors. And then we've also got the big pocket in here that we have the Kelderman little backing plate in there that's red. So still got the function of having that big step in there. You're not losing any of your sensors. Just like the front, we did a set of red color matched monster hook to match our GMC outline here. Got another Kelderman backing plate here. Got our Midnight Series backup lights. And I tell you what, once you start using these, I've been using these quite a bit lately, moving trailers and stuff around after dark. And you can't live without that once you have a set of these. Control system, we ran our dual Viair compressor kit. So we got obviously two Viair 444s. We have our dryer system in here. and our 3-gallon tanks. The other thing we did on this is we installed a set of horn blasters. So when that idiot pulls out in front of you, you can make sure you let them know what you think of them. Last couple things we did to this truck is we smoked the tail lights, and we also smoked the marker lights that are right around the fender trim. Just kind of blacks this truck out, gives it that streamlined look. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old, but I'm starting to like these trucks that don't have 8 to 10 inches of lift. 35-inch tires, they're easy to get in and out of. You still pull, any gooseneck, you can sneak it underneath your fifth wheel. They're easy to park. It's just all around perfect size truck.